Good evening. My name is Loretta Turner, and I am the president of the Spurce and Glenwood Chamber of Commerce. I would like to welcome you all to our event this evening. Thank you to WCG-TV Spurce and the Avalon Theatre for their partnership in tonight's debate. I would like to begin by acknowledging that the municipality of Spurce-Glenwood is located on Treaty 2 land, the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that were made on these territories. We acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past, and we dedicate ourselves to move forward in partnership with the Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. It is with great respect that we recognize the inherited state of relationships, and we commit to moving forward in a way that brightens the future of all Canadians as equals. I will now turn things over to our moderator, Jackie Kirkup from WCG-TV Spurce.
Thank you, Loretta. Can everyone hear me okay? Excellent. So good evening. Nice to see such a great turnout here tonight. I'll start by welcoming our candidates. So Ray Berthollet from the Manitoba NDP. We have Stephen Reid from the Manitoba Liberal Party, and we have Colleen Robbins from the Manitoba PC Party. We have a series of questions prepared. The first 10 questions have been previously shared with the candidates. Then we have 2 questions that have been submitted tonight, and we will end the evening with a lightning round of trivia. I will be maintaining the time and providing a break around 8 o'clock if needed. Each candidate will be given a maximum of 2 minutes to answer questions and are allowed 1 rebuttal for the evening. And with that, let's get to it. So, Ray, you are up with the first question. So, Ray, what has motivated you to run in this by-election? What are your goals and objectives?
First goal is to get this working. Cooperation between 2 parties. What more can you want? As you can see, this is the first debate I've ever done in my 70 years plus of being on this earth. So here we go. Bottom line for me is that I believe in the opportunity to help people of Spurcewood's constituency get the services and infrastructure improvements they deserve. Whether I was working as a correctional officer or helping get people housing or fighting for the workers, I have always listened and helped people throughout my life. I've always gone out and went the extra mile for people. Working for Glenn Smart, MLA Brandon East, reignited my passion for public service and my passion for politics. I'm running to be your MLA because I want to help you, more people, and I believe I am the best person to do that. My goal is to provide the constituents because I want to help more people, and I believe I'm the best person to do that. I am a caring, compassionate person who wants to do the job for the constituents for the complete term. So in other words, 2 years this time and 4 years next time. My objective is to provide a voice at the decision-making table for the people of Spruce Woods.
Thank you, Ray. Well, we're just going to go right in order. So, Stephen, you are up next. Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I'm okay. I think I got the microphone working here, so that's
Perfect.
good. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stephen Reid. I'm your Liberal candidate for this upcoming by-election. I was born and raised in Brandon, Manitoba here, and spent my entire life growing up in communities around here, Lake Wanapana, Spurce River fishing, all throughout the entire riding. My family history in this riding is quite deep as well. My father, Jim Reed, was the mayor of Brandon for 15 years. My grandfather, Jim Reed as well, was the editor to the Brandon Sun. And my great-grandfather, Jim, J.R. Reed, is a prominent educator and was mayor of Swan River for quite a few years, and has a school named after him in Brandon. You know, being born and raised here in this area, I've seen the cuts, the centralization, and the corrupt leadership of the BC Party, and that they've given us in their years in power. Provincially, I've also seen the broken promises and investment that is not research-backed by our NDP government that they have produced over the last 2 years, and I think it's time for a change. It's no secret that our Premier has spent a lot of money and energy in our riding over the last 2 weeks, but let me state, that was the last 2 weeks. This was a blatant move to attract votes, and from somebody who has never really been to our riding or spent money in our riding before. As I've said before, Mr. Canoe, we're going to take your money, absolutely, and thank you. But we need somebody at the table here who's going to be the checks and balances to make sure that that money gets spent the right way, and we have investments still coming into our riding. Is that my 30 seconds? Okay. You know, in our riding we have a lot of issues. Healthcare is really suffering. Crime, we have in Manitoba 2 times the national average of crime in Canada. And, you know, we have so many broken promises and cuts from the other 2 parties that it is time for a real leader to come to the table and negotiate between these 2 parties and get the best deal for the people in Spurce Woods. Thank you very much.
Ray, did you just hold your card up? Okay, I seen that out of the corner of my eye. Yes, so each candidate gets 1 opportunity to have a rebuttal. They have 30 seconds for their rebuttal, and then in this case, Ray will do his 30 seconds, and then Stephen will have an opportunity to reply, and we'll have 30 seconds for that. So, Ray, go ahead.
Unfortunately for the Liberal Party, that there's no way they can do anything that the Liberal candidate just said. They are a one-person party currently in Manitoba. They do not have the access to the Premier that I would have, or to the ministers and political staff. So when he's telling you that he's going to make changes, it's blowing it right out of his ass.
I was just looking back here to see. Ladies and gentlemen, Manitoba and Canada specifically are currently running on almost a 2-party system right now. And we need that representation from a 3rd party in the Parliament and in the House, the legislature. And for me to be your Liberal candidate, I have to question, will Mr. Berthelot stand up against Mr. Canoe if there's something that is not jiving with the people of Spruce Woods? I know I will.
So Colleen, I'm just going to repeat the question again. What has motivated you to run in this by-election? What are your goals and objectives?
So family and community. I've been involved for many years, and this by-election is a chance to help to ensure that my grandkids have the same opportunities as I did. 2 years ago, Manitobans were promised bail reform, healthcare improvements, and affordability. That never happened. It motivated me to run to fight for Spruce Woods and my community. Whether you live in Brandon North, Oak Lake, Holland, Spurce, and all the communities in between, I will be there. I will be your voice, and I will be strong. My goal is to ensure that every resident of Spruce Woods feels that they have a voice in how our province is led.
Okay, so moving on to question 2. Our little poker game over here. Stephen, if elected, how do you plan on working to support resident concerns and your party's policies with an NDP majority government?
Yes, I think we sort of touched on that in the first question with Ray's rebuttal. As an educator, I'm an expert collaborator and problem solver. In my classroom, I solve more problems in a day and collaborate with more people than a lot of people do in a week in their jobs. It's through that collaboration and problem-solving skills that I plan to work with both sides of the spectrum. It would be asinine for me to say that the NDP and the PC don't have good ideas, because everybody has some good ideas, but what it should be is all ideas are welcome, no matter where they come from. But there needs to be an open and honest negotiation and collaboration between all three parties here to ensure that the people of this riding are represented well and there are no more games. My whole goal is to be able to have someone at the table who can both oppose the NDP government in doing what they're doing and collaborate with them to make sure that our riding gets the best that they can get. Even if I don't win the seat, a vote for Stephen Reid is a message to the NDP government that they're not doing good enough and they need to smarten up. Thank you.
Pauline.
Well, excuse me. Good legislation gets passed regardless of who's in government. Example, Wayne Balkin, our Brandon West MLA, was the only MLA to pass a bill this spring. So, not one of your MLAs, Ray, had passed one bill. Who is really sitting at the table? Whose voices are being heard? Opposition holds the government to account. I promise that I will hold this government to account and make sure that I keep the promise of all projects that they have announced in this last month. I will hold them account to it. Just before an election, they found us on a map, and they really think we've been fooled. Just like the NDP supporter in Oak Lake mentioned, Grant Jackson was out working and doing reading week in the local schools. She phoned the NDP and asked them to come out and join them, and they said they were too busy. Even though she agreed they showed up during she also agreed that they only showed up during an election. I promise I'll never be too busy to hear you. I will be doing reading week, and I'll be participating in all community events, and I will be at the council listening to each RM's concerns, which I've started to do already. Unfortunately, I can't get to them all because the way the meetings fall, but I have been hearing lots of interesting stuff at the table. Thank you.
And Ray.
I've been out talking to reams of mayors and councillors. I've been to 5 different council meetings and talked to numerous mayors on the phone. And it's obvious to them that the only person who has access to the premier would be me. It wouldn't be the 2 opposition people. And I can say that I watched question period for many days because that is my job. I'm the executive assistant for Minister Simard, Minister of Rural Affairs and Northern Affairs, as well as my job to watch question period. At the end of question period, you know what happens? The Conservative government sits there and talks about petitions for the rest of the day. They don't go into the hallways, they don't go into the boardrooms, they don't develop strategies on how they can address the issues of the constituents of all of Manitoba, including Spruce Woods. So we're a listing government, and as a listing government, we go and talk to the reefs and find out what their problems was. I was in Glenboro this morning, and I was there for an hour plus talking to the council and the members at the meeting. And they told me some stuff that happened under the previous Conservative government where Cliff Cullen and a few of the other MLA people, conservatives, were there, and nothing happened. They did not get a response. They did not get the resolve. They didn't even get told that what they couldn't do point A or point B or point C. So they can say what they want about talking to people, but it's the actions that the municipal people want. So I want to make it clear, as your MLA, I will be available. My door will always be open. And just to prove that, as an executive assistant, we took 800 phone calls in the first year in Minister Samard's office of people. Thank you.
Okay, Stephen held up his rebuttal card, so I will give him his 30 seconds.
Thank you. You know, I've heard you say this before, Ray, that other MLAs will not have access to ministers or the premier. Is that really the government that the NDP are running, that they're closing doors to other people in other parties and not listening?
Ray, you have 30 seconds to respond.
It is clear that the government will be listening to the other conservative or the one liberal in the House right now. But when it comes to action in the back rooms and making decision makings, it's not the opposition who does that. It's the premier and it's the government.
Okay, moving on to question number 3. This one will be for you, Colleen, first. What are your thoughts on the NDP's commitment to cost reduction through measures like suspending the gas tax and introducing a homeowner's affordability tax credit?
Well, the NDP like to talk a big game, but they failed to deliver. They scrapped a tax rebate that worked in favor of one that missed people and caused some rates to skyrocket. Just this past weekend, I was at a barbecue. It was an all-three-candidate barbecue at Spruce Woods Housing Corp. They had their taxes go up tens of thousands of dollars overnight. That will be given to them every year under this NDP government. They were fundraising to get toilets and everything to put in this place. Well, when this election was called, they came along and offered some money to help them. It fell very short of what they were asking. The NDP's inactions has cost us a lot. Look at yesterday's news in response to the Chinese tariffs. They're going to cost farmers tens of thousands of dollars. Ontario has topped up their support. They are at $250 million. What can you so far? Ask Winnipeg or Ottawa for help. We're rural Manitoba. We know if we're waiting for Winnipeg and Ottawa, we're going to be waiting a long time. Important to remember, it was the PCs that forced the NDP to amend the gas tax. And the NDP proposed that there were going to still be taxes on purple gas and a bunch of other scenarios. Their tax credit change also was a 10% increase on small businesses with no longer qualified. It begs the question, who's going to be next? I'm going to tell you that I will fight for each and every one of these every day with every fiber of my being.
Ray, I did see you hold up your rebuttal card, but each candidate is only allowed one rebuttal for the evening. This is where I get nervous. Okay, moving along. You just get to keep going, Ray, so you're next.
The affordability measures taken by the government are real. The one-year gas tax holiday was real. The permanent gas tax reduction cut is real. So despite what the opposition says, the NDP has taken real action on affordability. It's not just talk, these are actual policies. This is helping rural Manitobans who have to drive longer distances than people in Winnipeg save some money. At council meeting, this is another council meeting I was at, by the way, they told me, keep the gas tax reduction. It saves farmers and constituents so much money, and we agree that this is making life a bit more affordable. We're also saving 99% of Spruce Woods homeowners money with our tax credit. So what we got here is not only affordability, but an understanding that there are real accomplishments that the provincial government has provided for the residents of the rural and farm areas. That is real savings, but there's always more to do. On the matter of yesterday's announcements of the Chinese tariffs on canola, there's nobody fighting who is a harder fighter than Wab Kinew. Farmers should know that whether it's the US or China, he's going to tell the federal government what needs to be done. We're going to make sure that there are new markets for our products, and we're already making sure the trade barriers within Canada come down. Only today, the Premier gave a press conference on the topic and stood with Manitoba Canola Growers Association to tell producers that the government has your back. So this was today before our debate tonight. Whatever challenges we face from the US or Chinese tariffs, this government is ready to meet the challenge and protect Manitoba's economy. Thank you.
All right, Stephen, you're up next.
Thank you. So we're talking about gas tax, and we're talking about affordable homeowners affordability tax credit. Affordability does matter, and any relief is definitely welcome, but these measures are temporary band-aids. Suspending the gas tax without a plan for infrastructure funding just shifts the cost elsewhere. During the 2023 campaign, the NDP promised to eliminate the provincial gas tax. What actually happened was a tax holiday and a putback of 12.5 cents per liter onto your gas bill. That works out to about $10 a tank. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but it sure is every week or every 2 weeks, isn't it? As far as homeowners affordability tax, that can certainly help as well. But you know what? It leaves our renters out, and it also does not address the root causes of high housing costs. We need structural solutions, targeted rural options, home energy efficiency programs and upgrades, and reforms to property tax and housing supply so affordability isn't just a 6-month talking point. Thank you.
Can everybody hear okay? Is that going fine? Yes? All right. Okay, moving on to question number 4. What are your thoughts on the NDP's priority on addressing homelessness and connecting individuals with mental health support as a pathway to employment? And Wayne, we'll have you go answer that question.
Nobody wants to see people living in tents. It's not good for our community. It's not safe home for people. Our plan is to get people off the streets and into homes. In my life, I've learned that people with addictions need to see a future for themselves. One where if they turn their life around and meet us halfway, we need to be there to meet them, to support them. Supports are extremely important when you're dealing with homeless people. The work of homeless people has been ongoing for years, but with the support of the NDP government, improvements can be seen. A good example is the John Howard Society has embarked on a 3-stage transitional center in Brandon that will provide wraparound service for up to 24 individuals through a proven model that includes addiction recovery. As well, part of the program includes work placement opportunities once someone meets the established criteria. Also, the Universal School Nutrition Program will provide kids today with better opportunities tomorrow it reinforces our understanding that kids who aren't hungry will be working harder in school. Ending chronic homelessness is, in 2 terms, is ambitious, but we have to try.
Stephen.
It's almost like you're in order there. Okay, so addressing homelessness and with mental health supports and employment pathways is the right idea. But the scale of our crisis demands urgent and measurable results. We need more supportive housing units now, integrated with on-site mental health care and addiction treatment, especially in rural and small town settings. The NDP introduced a plan called Your Way Home to end chronic homelessness. But housing advocates and reporters say the rollout has been slow and there's not enough funding. They warn that only a small number of units and pilot projects are in place while larger homelessness keeps growing faster. We need more innovative and collaborative ideas across party lines and negotiation to identify the best fix for our specific area. Thank you.
And Colleen.
So I'd say that's another priority I don't see materializing. The Blue Door in Brandon just had to close earlier this year because of an increase in violence. Look at Winnipeg. The government had this great big plan. So far, in 6 months, they've had 10 people a month, 60 people in a population of a province of $1.5 million. And like Stephen just said, the growing homelessness is faster than what they're getting homes for. I met a man in Rivers, and he said he's fallen in between the cracks. He's now living with his brother because he can't live in low-income housing because he worked too hard and saved a little bit too much money, but not enough to actually afford the market price of an apartment building. So he has no place to go. And on addictions, it's a major component. And instead of expanding addictions treatment, the NDP are moving heaven and earth to open a drug consumption site across the street from a high school and take an ambulance and go on mobile to give safe injections. Well, I'm sorry, but I would rather spend my taxpayer dollars to treat these people, to get them treatment beds, not promoting drugs. Let's help these people. Sometimes it's mental issues that gets them into this trouble. I had lost my stepbrother to an overdose in BC. So that's how the injection sites work. They don't stop the drug. Let's bring these people home to a nice, successful recovery and feel the love.
So our next question, what do you consider to be Spruce Woods' one biggest challenge, and what will you do to address it? Stephen.
You know, in speaking with people around this riding, I've heard from a lot of people in the healthcare industry that have really been treated poorly. Our healthcare workers are overworked, underappreciated, and we are shipping good doctors out to different provinces with better contracts. One thing that we need to do is ensure that we have a program that retains our people and gives them an incentive to stay here, whether that's loan forgiveness or bonuses or anything like that. What we need to do is get these people to stay here in their community. I spoke with a doctor in Brandon yesterday, and he's been talking about how different provinces have return to service. And I think that's an excellent idea for our students going through our BU and University of Manitoba programs for medicine and other healthcare, that they should stay here in this province and contribute to the healthcare that we need in our province. And that is what I intend to do. Thank you.
Ray.
While I was knocking on doors in every corner of the riding, I heard a lot of people that have said they have not had a seat at the table and they're not getting the investments they deserve. Too many people have told me that never seen a politician at their door ever until I came knocking on their door. I would address this by committing to you today that I will continue to knock on your door. I'll talk to homeowners, local leaders, Chamber of Commerce, to anyone who wants to talk to me. I will listen to you because we are a listening government.
Okay, Colleen.
We have amazing communities here in Spruce Woods, but with every service cut, every centralization, it gets harder to expect the next generation to stay. Kids go off to university and fewer are coming back to settle down. When this NDP party became the governing party, do you know they cut the green team? Those were summer jobs for students. My son worked on the green team. He got great work experience. It gives the kids confidence, some money to show them how hard work pays off. And it gives all our nonprofit organizations and organizations in small communities be able to afford to have their services going, such as museums, parks, camps. Well, after a lot of yelling and screaming from both organizations and the communities, they decided to give some of that money back this year. Not as much, and with the cost of wages going up for these students, we're really behind in this type. I left for a couple of years at Manitoba, but it's the community that brought me back. The sense of belonging, the sense of security, or being able to let your kid get on a bicycle and ride without worrying about them. And crime has stopped that. In our small communities, we're even scared now. In Brandon alone, 54% above a national average for crime, and violent crime is 72% higher than national average. Think about that. Is it time? Oh, I see you're on phone. Winnipeg, a man was arrested for 45 kgs of meth, $150,000 of drug money on him, firearms. Guess what? He got out as quick as he was arrested.
Okay, our next question. What do you consider to be Spruce Woods' one biggest opportunity, and what can you do to help us realize it? Right.
One biggest opportunity is economic opportunities for the region through investment. The investment we're committed to in roads, bridges, highway repairs, getting direct flights from Toronto to Brandon, which will be bringing tourism, investment, and healthcare professionals past Winnipeg but directly into West Man. In the PC government, there was a lack of investment in the constituency, and it's shown by the state of our current roads and bridges. The infrastructure investments we have made will produce economic development, putting people to work in our communities, local construction companies, electricians, paving companies are going to benefit from addressing this timely infrastructure increase. Our biggest opportunity is to make sure that as the area grows, that everyone in the community gets benefits for that.
Thank you, Ray. Colleen.
Okay, again, it's our people. We've got good, honest, hardworking people here in Spruce Woods. And I would sit down with any company, any industry, manufacturing, or independent business that would like to be a part of Spruce Woods. We have some opportunities going ahead right now in North Brandon, and I would look for any opportunity that can bring economic growth to all of our small communities. We need the investment in Spruce Woods today. Stop the red tape.
Thank you, Colleen. Stephen?
Thank you. Before I get my answer, one thing I just noticed is both candidates said our biggest opportunity is investment from the government. I think our biggest opportunity is our agriculture innovation. We have the land, we have the expertise, and we have the entrepreneurial spirit to be a leader in agritech, value-added processing and sustainable farming. By investing in local processing facilities, cutting red tape, and research partnerships with ACC and U of M, we can keep more value in our community and keep jobs right here.
Thank you. Next question. Do you think it is important to benchmark Manitoba to neighboring provinces in order to be economically competitive? And Stephen.
Excellent, thank you. Absolutely, benchmarking is essential. Without it, we're flying blind in our province. We should measure healthcare, wait times, infrastructure quality, educational outcomes, and tax competitiveness against Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Ontario. That transparency forces us to compete for investment, talent, and better outcomes. When you look at our neighboring provinces, equalization, that number, I'm going to give you the number in a second, this number is very scary for Manitoba. When you look at equalization across the prairies, Saskatchewan gets no money for equalization. Alberta, no money for equalization. BC, no money for equalization. Ontario, $18 a person. Manitoba, $1,554 in equalization payment. Does that not tell you that we're doing something wrong and we need to wake up and bring more investment into this province? Thank you.
Up next, we have Colleen.
Just like Stephen, we do need to compare ourselves to our neighbors because we know that people are always looking where they need to go. And that's in business and companies. Should we move here, stay here? Well, right now, Saskatchewan, just next door to us, is offering nurses in Estevan or Moosomin $50,000 to sign a contract and work for 3 years. That is taking our nurses away from our province on a daily basis. They're offering 3 years of service for a lab tech for $30,000. How do we keep our best and brightest when the next door they can get down payments on a home and a bonus for 3 years of work? And you know, after 3 years of work, they've made their community, and chances are they've got them for a lifetime. It's the same in the private sector. Manitoba was the top jurisdiction for mining and extraction, but under the NDP, dropped from 6th to 26th. Saskatchewan is 3rd. Business will take those high-paying jobs to where they feel supported. We need to do better. This government has failed Manitobans in all of their election promises. We could have a have province if we could get those resources out of the ground like Saskatchewan has under a PC government. Ontario, Saskatchewan, and Alberta are working together to get goods to market. Manitoba wouldn't sign on.
Okay, I'll just repeat the question. Ray, do you think it is important to benchmark Manitoba to neighboring provinces in order to be economically competitive? Can't even do it twice.
We really care about it being a competitive province. It's a huge priority for the government To be competitive, it's important to compare our performance and policies to our neighbors on investment and retaining talent here in Manitoba and in the Westman area. Let's look at attraction investment. We opened a gold mine up north. We're building a new Prairie Innovation Center for Agriculture at AC, which will produce many of the new generation of farmers. And also our doctors and nurses. Our doctors at the BU, School of Education, in conjunction with the U of M, will help us address the shortage of doctors in our rural area. So we've grown the economy for the first time in 20 years. Manitoba had a 2024 net positive immigration under WAPCanoe. We are changing the narrative about Manitoba. Let's continue to be more competitive economically.
Okay, moving on to our next question. What do you think are Manitoba's greatest strengths? Better get those in the bucket. Stephen.
This is the easiest question you've asked all. It's easy, it's our people. I've said it in interviews before, I haven't said it here, but as a teacher, I have spent 6 years in 4 different countries working abroad as well. And every time I come back here to Manitoba, because the people, and it's always something that's brought me back every time. Some of our greatest strengths is our people's resilience in this area, our natural resources as well, and our diverse economy, from farms to factories to film. We combine small town community spirit with world-class innovation. And when government invests in this, Manitoba will thrive. As Colleen mentioned in the last question, we have an incredible amount of resources in our ground. However, in this year's Fraser Institute survey of mining companies for attractiveness of coming in, we have dropped from 6 to 26 in the last 2 years. And before that, we were number 1. So if this doesn't tell you something is wrong, I don't know what will. It's my promise that as an educator, I will support that investment into innovation and industry to bring Manitoba back where it should be, at the top of that list. Thank you.
Colleen.
So I feel like a broken record, but it's our people also. That tenacity and the fight that means that can come complete on a global scale when red tape and government restrictions don't get in the way. We farmers here feed the world. We have rich metal and mineral deposits everyone wants. Forestry resources, fish, wildlife. Our water is amazing and some of the most beautiful backdrops in the nation. But it's people that makes it happen. We are the friendliest people. Manitoba celebrates its rich history and its diversity of cultures and languages. Great.
We talk about critical minerals or mining or agriculture or the bombers, but truly our greatest strength is the people, friendly Manitobans, proud Canadians. The people of Manitoba elected WAPCanoe to lead us, born a rural hospital, a gun owner, a hunter, and someone who embodies Manitobans, standing up for Canada. Within 24 hours of the China announcing tariffs on canola, he began working with the Minister of Agriculture and the Minister of Finance to see what could be done to prepare for this. He already spoke to the Prime Minister and has been working hard to find options for canola farms. His actions investing in small-town Manitoba roads and healthcare resonated with me. The first ER and the NDP opened wasn't in Winnipeg, it was in Carberry. That was how I found myself on this stage. Our greatest strength is our people.
Our next question was submitted by a community member. Our roadways in this part of the province have been ignored for many years. Highways in complete disrepair, provincial roads impassable at times, and bridges closed for a number of years. Our farmers and their families depend on all of these routes for work, school, and livelihood. Please tell us how you will work to resolve these ongoing issues. Colleen.
Okay, our PC has laid the groundwork for that with 5-year infrastructure plan, which had some much needed upgrades to get the roads to our TAP standard for transport. Highway 5 and 34 were slated for upgrade. Unfortunately, a lot of these projects were cancelled or paused until the NDP tried to pretend and understand the area. I will fight for adequate funding for real project completion and for real community input in what gets done. When our previous MLA, Grant Jackson, was in office, he had signed several petitions to get these projects going. Like when he asked the Minister for Transportation and Infrastructure, Lisa Naylor, about Highway number 5, as this was not an RTAP standard. She couldn't tell the difference between number 5 and number 8 in Gimli until this by-election.
Ray.
I might have knocked on this person's door, because I've heard this time and time again from all corners of the constituency when we were banging on doors talking to people. The infrastructure is in poor shape. What we've done is we've got road construction and resurfacing and repairing ongoing on the bridges, the dams, wastewater treatment plants, structural work at PTH2 at the Spurce River, investments of $63 million in highway number 5, and $149 million on highway number 2. The team also listens to Manitoba and canceled the Arcut in Carberry. Sitting at the table as an MLA, I would be able to listen to other opportunities and concerns of the constituents. So it's important to have people listening at the decision table. Without that, more petitions will be petitions will be petitions.
Thank you, Ray. Colleen has held up her rebuttal card, so go ahead, Colleen.
Ray, just like the Minister, that's a lot of talk, but there's no substance. Numbers and press conferences are one thing, but your party doubled and triple dipped. In July, you announced funds for a new bridge on 34 north of Holland. Twice, it's already done. The PC started and was completed. Does your minister not actually go review the projects before she decides she's going to send the money for the projects? That is shameful.
Ray, you have 30 seconds.
I can remember reading in the Winnipeg Free Press that I think his name was Conrad Narth. I think that's a conservative MLA, right? He's the one who said, yes, these projects have been on our table for the last 5 years. Well, that's exactly where they sit, on the Conservatives' table the last 5 years, and here we are working on the issues of Spruce Woods today.
Just going to check in on the candidates. Are you doing fine? Anyone need water? We're okay? All right. Oh, Stephen, it's your turn. Yikes.
The only thing I need to find is the stuff blowing into my ass, apparently, but we'll kind of. All right. Neglected. This is not part of my time, is it? Okay. Neglected roads and bridges are not just an inconvenience, folks. They're an economic chokehold for our area. Farmers can't get to market, kids can't get to school safely, and rural tourism is stalling out. I will push for a dedicated rural infrastructure fund with protected dollars for road and bridge repair and transparent public schedule of projects. And the most important thing, penalties for missing deadlines. This is about safety, jobs, and fairness, and rural Manitobans deserve the same standard as people living inside the perimeter.
Our next question, submitted by a community member. In this riding, there are a number of union workers that fall under the government, from nurses, teachers, MPI, and Hydro. Currently, QP 998 is under negotiations, and they are being told that the current government is not interested in giving them a fair deal that matches other jurisdictions. Do you support union workers, and do you think this is fair when MLAs agree to give themselves wage increase of 3.6% in 2024 and 2025? Colleen.
Okay, this is a really important question because it hits at the heart of it all. What are election promises without action? Manitoba workers were promised a lot, but what they got was chaos in healthcare, a lowering of education standards that no one asked for, and it blows my mind why we would want to lower our education standards. Hydro workers that are asked to do more and more with less and less. We haven't really had a chance to talk about healthcare tonight, but as an example, we were promised to fix. Well, under this government, things have gotten worse. Doctors Manitoba had to warn citizens traveling in rural and northern communities to check where the ERs would be open. And I think the ER you opened, Ray, in Carberry, is closed every second day. This is the hospital that also the nurses union gave the government a D- and just gray listed Health Science Center, which means they're saying to their nurses, you don't have to go to work, it's a dangerous place. This is a hospital that serves all Manitobans, and nurses are discouraged to work there. The safety of our nurses and staff at HSE is so scary. I can't imagine feeling unsafe in a workplace. Their request for alert systems, tunnel access, more security is all gun and noses. I will always stand up for a fair workplace environment. I will fight for all my constituents.
Thank you, Colleen. Ray.
That is a great question, and thank you to whoever submitted it. But there has to be a little clarification here. On MLA wages, it wasn't the MLAs themselves that got the wages. It was an independent commissioner established by the Conservative government, appointed after the election in 2017, that decided to give MLAs wage increases according to a formula that is continuing this day. Okay, so it's not the MLAs who are doing it, it's the report of the independent commissioner. Of course, we believe in our workers. We will always support workers. That's been an NDP priority since the beginning. And some of the old people in the room might remember CCF, and that was the beginning. So yes, we support workers getting fair deals, but the government also has a responsibility to taxpayers. The government signed collective agreements with wage increases for nurses, teachers, MPI workers, healthcare aides, allied health professionals. These deals are the deals the PC government didn't get done. I know from experience, being a former union rep and sitting at negotiation tables, that bargaining is challenging. I also know that deals with the province signed were fair deals for the workers and the taxpayers. The most important part of these negotiations is that both sides sit down at the table and hammer it out. Most deals are completed in the last half day to half hour of the negotiations. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Stephen.
Thank you. You know, kind of piggybacking on Colleen here, talking about the grey listing of HSC, I feel for those workers as well. As a teacher, sometimes we're scared at school as well. We just saw an incident at Neelan High School where there was a sword come in and really hurt a child. And, you know, that is something that is not okay in the workplace. So, do I support union workers? Of course I do. I am one, right? I'm a teacher. Union workers are the backbone of our healthcare, education, utilities, and more. It's not fair that the government can give itself wage increases while telling nurses, teachers, and hydro workers to settle for less and work harder. This is exactly why we are losing people to other provinces. A fair deal keeps skilled workers here and prevents service collapse. I will push for binding arbitration, installed negotiations, and transparent wage comparisons to the other provinces so Manitoba can see if we are being fair to our workers. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes the questions that the candidates all got ahead of time. We did receive 2 questions earlier this evening that they have not had time to prepare for. So here we go. Do you have any personal stories or experiences that have made you want to advocate for change in government or policies with regard to healthcare, the justice system, or any other branch of our provincial government? Colleen.
Well, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I have grandchildren, I was a nurse. I sat on the Crime Stoppers board. So I have great experience and great stories about nursing. When I nursed, we got lots of time to spend with the patients, have that bedside nursing experience. That's what made it great. Today, I feel that they are so quick, they say they don't have time to even hardly visit the patient. Throwing pills at them, giving them needles, and running back to report it. Worn out, mandated to work long hours. I myself, I feel for the nurses today like you wouldn't believe. Crime Stoppers is one of the best programs out there to help solve crimes. People that want to know something. Everybody knows something about a crime because they're either with somebody or it was them. But if they were alone, you're never going to have them call in on themselves. But a lot of people know of murders, a lot of people know of drug deals, and you can call anonymously to this program. And we can have the police then will investigate it. And I can tell you, a large percentage of the people do not take the rewards of the crime. They want the crime solved. So that would be my experiences on healthcare and crime.
I'm just going to read the question out again. Do you have any personal stories or experiences that have made you want to advocate for change in government or policies with regard to healthcare, the justice system, or any other branch of our provincial government? Stephen.
I absolutely do have stories. I have stories from people that I've spoken to knocking on their doors. I spoke with a family doctor here out in Brandon yesterday, actually. I was knocking doors with Dr. John Gerard, and we had a very good conversation about retention and bringing people to Manitoba to help. I've also spoken with a really kind doctor who works in the emergency room, and she told me that she doesn't get a break. There's no way to slow down. And anytime she has a day off, she's mandated to come in and help. I think it's important that we support these people, because without proper health care, all of our people here are getting shortchanged. As far as justice goes, I had a very good conversation with the mayor of Brandon, Jeff Fawcett, and we spoke about the crime in North Brandon and Brandon area. And what they're talking about is bail reform, and I completely agree. We need to stop catching and releasing these criminals. And one of the things that I found that happens is criminals are sent to BCI, and when they're released, they don't get a ticket home. They're released to Brandon, and they're released to the surrounding area to live wherever they live, whether it's homeless or whatever it is, and do more crime. And those are just some incredible stories that I've had. One story that comes to mind about healthcare. How much time do I have? Excellent. My mother, who's sitting in the front row right now, had some stomach issues, and we had to go to the emergency room in Brandon. Well, she sat there for, I want to say, 13, 14 hours, 17 hours, with stomach pain. Well, there was people overdosing all through the emergency waiting room. They were throwing up and soiling themselves, and it was the most sad experience that I've experienced, because we're Canadian. Why are we sitting here with health care that is not provided? Thank you.
Okay, Ray, I'll just read the question out again. Do you have any personal stories or experiences that have made you want to advocate for change in government or policies with regard to healthcare, the justice system, or any other branch of our provincial government?
My previous employment was working at the Brandon jail, and also taking a position in Thompson as a probation officer under Community Youth Corrections. So I'm going to read a couple stories from there. Okay, when I was in corrections at the jail, we had a case management system that helped the individuals getting released with support services, with relocation back home, with providing them options for rehabilitation and addictions and counseling services. Okay? I find from talking to my colleagues on the committees I sit with that has been adjusted to allow the people who want to live in Brandon to be released to Brandon, because they don't want to go home. Okay, whether it's a reserve or a city, they want to try to live in Brandon. So, at a meeting I had with the Justice Minister recently, I guess within the last few months, I was talking to him about what it used to be and what it should go back to. So he has currently a member who was a former worker in community corrections, and he's working in that area to improve the release options for individuals who are getting released from jail. As well, the bail program, the Premier and the Justice Minister have met with the Canadian Prime Minister, and they have addressed their concerns along with the other premiers about having tougher bail reforms in the near future. So
That's time, Ray. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, next question. Everyone knows we have a healthcare crisis in Manitoba. Are you aware of the animal healthcare crisis? Cattle are at a record high prices and farmers cannot find vets to treat them. How would you change the current funding recruitment model to help address this? Colleen.
So I guess our first avenue is we're going to have to get vets. So I would say advocating for vets, bringing incentives to Manitoba to get these vets to come here. And that's about the only fix is to get the vets if we need to fix the animals.
Thank you, Colleen. I will read the question again. Everyone knows we have a healthcare crisis in Manitoba. Are you aware of the animal healthcare crisis? Cattle are at record high prices and farmers can't find vets to treat them. How would you change the current funding recruitment model to help address this? Stephen.
Thank you. I assume there is a crisis with veterinary care. We actually only have 2 provincially funded vets in our area. What we need to do is advocate for more provincially funded vets, but we also need to advocate, just like healthcare with people, is training doctors and bringing them here and retaining them, and doing that by loan forgiveness, incentives, etc. It's the same problem with almost the same solution. Thank you.
Okay, Ray, I'll read the question for the last time. Everyone knows we have a healthcare crisis in Manitoba. Are you aware of the animal healthcare crisis? Cattle are at record high prices and farmers can't find vets to treat them. How would you change the current funding recruitment model to help address this?
Well, as we started the debate, there was cooperation between my Liberal friend and myself, and I maintain the same cooperation. He hit it right on the nail. The only addition I would add is we should look at developing our own veterinarian school. I believe the only school that's here right now is the one in Saskatoon. I haven't checked into this because I'm not deeply involved in veterinarian work, but if it is possible for us to have a sub-school of the one in Saskatchewan, maybe that might be an option for the future.
Thank you, Ray. So this concludes our formal questions for the evening. Thank you to each of the candidates for their answers. We wanted to end this evening with some fun Spruce Woods trivia to test the candidates. Each candidate has been given paper and markers. I will read a trivia question. Give 15 seconds for the candidates to write down their answers. Then on the count of 3, we will all hold up our answers and I will have the right answer. I gotta get my answers. Okay, I'm giving Loretta the answers. Okay, so for our first trivia question, how many municipalities are in Manitoba and how many municipalities are in Spruce Woods? That is time. So on the count of 3, everyone holds up their paper towards the audience. So 1, 2, 3. Oh goodness. Okay. Darn, we thought this was going to work.
We'll make it bigger.
I could come and read. Okay. Liz. Okay, let's see what you have on yours, Colleen. Well, that's okay. That's okay. Okay, so Colleen has 6 for Spruce Woods and no opportunity or chance for Manitoba. Question mark also from Stephen on Manitoba, and 10 for Spruce Woods. And Ray has 137 for Manitoba and 10 for Spruce Woods. So yes, Ray won that trivia round. Okay, we have one. So I know what I was going to tell you. These are the municipalities in Spruce Woods. So Sifton, Surrey Glenwood, Glenborough, South Cypress, Victoria, Elton, Cornwallis, Whitehead, Riverdale, Oakland Wawanesa, Brandon. I didn't know I was taking the trivia on the road here. Okay, so the next question. How many provincially funded vet clinics are in Manitoba? And how many are in Spruce Woods? Well, we'll have to see who is listening. All right, that is time. On the count of 3, well, I guess I'm going down the road here. 1, 2, 3, hold them up. All right, Ray has 10 in Manitoba and 2 in Spruce Woods, and he has written underneath that Glenborough and Surrey. Stephen with a question mark and 2 for Spruce Woods, and then Colleen, 2 for Manitoba and 2 for Spruce Woods, and Loretta, 24 in Manitoba and 2 in Spruce Woods. And the 2 in Spruce Woods are Glenborough and Surrey. And I have a tidbit here. The province funds $22,643 per vet clinic. All right. What highway connects Douglas to Wawanesa? Okay, on the count of 3. Let's see what we got. Highway 340. 340.
I don't know.
That's okay.
I just drive it.
It is 340 and it's terrible. Okay, next question. What municipality would you find Spruce Woods' only active ferry? Okay, that is time. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. We have Stockton in the RM of Glenborough Cypress, Stockton, and Steel Ferry. That's okay. Glenborough South Cypress, and it's the Stockton Ferry. Which highway runs south from Rivers to Alexander?
Don't say it out loud.
All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 250, 250, 250, 250. What main creek feeds into Oak Lake? All right, that is time. 1, 2, 3. Hold it out if they can see and read it. All right, we got Saskatchewan, Pipestone Creek, a question mark, Pipestone Creek. What 3 communities make up the RM of Elton? That is time. On the count of 3, let's hold up some answers. So 1, 2, 3. So Ray has Douglas, Kemney,
Douglas and Forest, I think it is.
okay, Douglas and Forest. We have Justice, Elgin, and Douglas. RM of Elton, Justice, Forest. And we have Douglas, Forest, Justice. Pretty good on that one. Okay, I've been waiting for this one all night long because it's the last one. I think I've been the most nervous of everybody up here.
I don't think so.
Where do you find the best apple fritters in Manitoba?
Manitoba.
I think that's time. So on the count of 3, 3, 2, 1. Surus, Surus, Surus. Mary Bakery, Surus. Surus. And if I had been in line at the bakery this morning, I might have been able to bring you one, but that didn't work out very well. So this does conclude our evening, so thank you so much for attending. It's nice to see a great crowd here. To our candidates, Ray, Stephen, and Colleen, all the best in the election, which is on August the 26th. On behalf of WCG TV Spurce, I'm Jackie Kirkup. Thank you to our cameraman, Gil, our event partners, the Spurce and Glenwood Chamber of Commerce, the Avalon Theatre, and to Cement Entertainment for the sound system. I'd especially like to thank Loretta Turner. She is the president of our chamber here, and without her planning and her organizational skills, this would not have happened. So thank you.